welcome back to another New World video. I know it's been an absolute age since I brought out a video on this channel, but let's be honest, if you're a returning player, current player, everybody knows there's been absolutely no content in New World pretty much since the expansion came out last October. So January to now, I've massively struggled to think of videos to bring out, I'll be honest, other than sort of generic videos that most of our content creators cover anyway. So in this video, I thought I'd bring out my predictions for what the big announcement that Amazon Game Studios are going to be giving us in the June the 7th announcement coming at the Summer Games Fest. So I'll also be streaming that live on Friday night. So if you want to jump in, I believe it starts around about 10 p.m. UK time. I should already be live by a couple of hours by then. So if you want to come over at Twitch and check out all the, the announcements and stuff like that, feel free. I'll see you over there. But yeah, basically I want to split this video. I don't want to make it too long, but I just want to put out some predictions out there, things that we already know as well. You might be a player who's thinking about returning, or maybe you've just returned or whatever, or maybe you're even just a player who still plays the game but you've not sort of been in the loop of all the announcements and things that we know that are coming to the game and that might possibly come to the game due to leaks and hints and stuff like that. So 3 parts of this video, really quickly overall. But what we already know is coming to the game, either it's already been confirmed with data mining files in the game, so that's sort of like hinted at, we know what's coming out there, or in one of the latest dev videos, which I know everybody hated, but it was the dev video where a lot of the video was like censored out, so you couldn't see what the answers were. It was basically a question, oh, what's coming into the game, what are you looking forward to? And the devs would answer, and then it'd all be sort of censored out and music was played, and everyone thought it was a big troll video and it was bad timing and bad, all that kind of stuff. I actually liked the video. The only reason why is it was New World's way, in my opinion, it was New World's way of giving us the information that we wanted, hints at what's coming out, without physically doing it. They must have some kind of an agreement with the Summer Games Fest, where obviously whatever they announce has to be new, fresh content that hasn't already been announced, or else that'll be like a rubbish trailer for them to show on their show. So they actually gave us information. Some of it I'll quickly go through in a minute. So I took useful information from that. I also took one thing that I don't think anybody else has noticed, or I've not heard anybody else say on YouTube or Twitch, in terms of players of New World. I've not heard anybody say so the developer Katie, how passionate she seemed about all the announcements that they're ready to bring to us. Now it could just be, and I'm hoping it's not this, it could just be that they are overhyping console release, which is going to be mentioned in a second, and they think that's going to be amazing, which I actually personally don't think it's going to be that good for New World. I don't think that'll last that long, but hopefully it's not that. Hopefully the developers are so passionate about what's coming at this announcement and then for the rest of the year that we should also be excited. So that's what I took from that video anyway. But anyway, so let's start off. So we're going to go with things we know about, things I predict that are going to come out on June the 7th announcement, and then things I hope come out in that announcement and the rest of this year, but most probably won't. So just kind of like my own personal sort of hopes. So the things we know then. So we know all of this comes from various leaks and various hints from previous dev videos as well and stuff like that. So here we go. Swimming. Finally, it's been a huge meme in New World. Oh, you can't even swim in this MMO. Like, everyone went on about that at launch, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be a big thing in the game unless they brought some kind of swimming trade skill in there, which maybe, but it could just be swimming. What would be nice if they brought with swimming would be maybe underwater gatherables that are specific for that. That'd be quite nice, but I don't know if a trade skill is going to come with swimming, but we know we're going to get swimming. That's been hinted at in a couple of dev videos. Hippos, again, one thing that frustrated me about previous dev videos, when they only had a small amount of Q&A time on those videos, they would waste a minute talking about people asking for hippos to come into the game. But some artwork has been posted on the Twitter account, I think it was, their X account, and it showed hippos in the background. So I think hippos are either going to come as a mount, most likely, or potentially a new trade skill as well. Could be something to do with pets and husbandry and stuff like that. But we pretty much know now that hippos are coming in some form, either mounts, possibly pets, which will be a new thing to add to the game. We'll mention console release. Again, they added control support a couple months ago. We know it's coming to console. We don't know if it's PlayStation or Xbox or both or Game Pass or whatever. I think Game Pass could be pretty huge for the game, because if you've already got it, you're likely to download it and give it a go. But we know it's coming to console. And along with console, we know this as well because they've given us this information in one of the last dev videos they gave us. We're going to get new fresh start servers. The only thing we don't know about that is Whether the fresh start server is going to be for everybody or just specific console players on their own servers, or whether the console players can play with the PC players, we don't know that part, but we know we're getting some form of fresh start servers. Due to data mining quite a while ago, we know we're getting a raid, and that was also hinted in the censored dev video. They directly talked about the worm raid, and then said, and you could see it on how, you know, Katie pronounced the word raid. So we know we're getting a new raid to the game. We don't know if it's a dungeon crawler raid or if it's a one boss raid. Hopefully it's a bit of a dungeon crawler raid. That'd be so much better. Hopefully multiple bosses. That would be amazing. But yeah, we know we're getting new raids in New World, which is cool. Not 10 man as well. I'm almost sure it's going to be 20 man raid. Again, another thing that we know is coming is this PvP free for all zone. We don't know if it's a, I know I keep saying we don't know, but it's because like they've hidden all of the full facts from us because they have to keep it secret until this sort of June 7th announcement, or else it'll be, you know, a rubbish trailer if we know all the, you know, so we know bits and bobs, and we know that we're getting a PvP free for all zone. Whether that's somewhere down in Cutler's Keys, there's a little island down there that you can go to, and even if it's fight people in your own faction, that could bring new elements to open world PvP, which could be pretty cool. So we know we're getting something like that. Could be a rotating, you know, this map this week, this map that week, which would actually potentially be a little bit better. But we'll see. But for PvP players out there, you are getting a bit of an update there. And we know as well that we are getting a rework to the loot from some of the existing content. You got some of the 10-man raids, and you got the worm raid, which came out, and then it's like you run it once or twice, you get your artifact or you know, your artifact upgrade or whatever, and then that's it. You're kind of done with that content. There's nothing else to do, like, unless you just enjoy doing it, you know, unless you're gaming Gothic and you want to do 5,000 runs of the worm raid, which I need to join them on actually, because I think I need to run it once or twice for the current season pass. But yeah, so we know we're getting reworks, and that's going to be huge in New World, because at the minute, so much of the content, you run it once or twice and you're kind of like, kind of done now. Do you know what I mean? Unless you just enjoy rerunning it, there's no reason to rerun it. Right, next section of the video. Here we go. These are things that I predict are going to be coming. I'm slightly sure for most of these, a little bit more sure for others. And I'll try and give you bits and bobs of information. Don't want to make the video too long, but I'll try and give you bits and bobs of information on why I think these are coming. I believe we're going to be getting a new weapon, or potentially weapons. We don't think it's going to be the daggers, because I think they've been kind of wrote out now. Even though they were data mined in the game a long time ago, we don't think it's going to be daggers. Hints of potential different parts of healing weapons and stuff in there, but I do think we are going to be getting new weapons. Also in the dev videos is where I think this prediction comes from. They've shown us like new weird different blunderbuss axe kind of weird weapons, like on the table, the dev videos and stuff in the recent months. So I think we're going to be getting some kind of new weapon. I believe we will be getting a skill and perks rework. Now, I've had some little leaks sent to me, not going to say who from or whatever, a little while ago, and some of the bits and bobs have been leaked elsewhere that other people have seen and shown on their streams and YouTube. But I do think we're going to be getting skills and perks rework. We know we're getting new PvP perks with the PvP Zone Island. That's been data mined, but I just think we might get an overall freshness to, you know, like almost like a balance and power kind of thing, but where we, you know, new skills might come in, slightly rework skills. I think we're probably going to be getting that. I think we might get a new gear score. I think most people agree with this as well, because if you're going to hopefully revamp some of Endgame, which is one of my later predictions, I think gear score is natural. I don't think it'll be a huge one, like say 700 to 750 or 700 to 800. I think it'll be more like Brimstone Sands, where it went to 625. So I think either in season 6 or at the latest season 7, I think we will get 725 gear score, and then maybe the 750 or the 800 will wait till the next big expansion, maybe next year or whenever that is. So I do think we'll get a new gear score. That'll help refresh all the gearing system. Hopefully artifacts and stuff are upgradable, and you don't have to go and get all brand new fresh ones. Just maybe go and do one more quest and you can upgrade it or something like that. Mutation changes. Now this has been hinted a couple times, but we do need it. So if you run the mutations, you know, M3s basically, it's supposed to be one of the hardest PvE forms of content in the game, similar to mythics and fractals in other games like World of Warcraft and Guild Wars, so people don't know what that is. Now I love this. This is my favorite content in the game. If you come to my stream, 75% of the time I'll be running M3s, trying to run them better, trying to get on leaderboards, trying to do speed runs, trying to do score runs, stuff like that. And I think we will get some kind of variability. Now, what the game needs with this prediction, by the way, is it needs better and upgraded loot. The loot you get from mutations depend on what the mutation is. If it's nature weak, you can get nature resistant armor, and you can get nature boreal, you know, damage added to your weapons and stuff. But like the rest of the perks that come with that weapon or that piece of gear, if one drops, if it even drops at a 3 perk piece of gear, it's normally trash. You can't even use it. So they're not great. So the loot that comes with these M3s needs to be revamped, and I'm hoping that's going to be revamped as well. So I do think we might get some mutation changes, and we've got other elements that haven't been used yet, like lightning, for example, and arcane. You know, maybe they'll throw in some of those coming in with season 6 and maybe even season 7. So that's another prediction. An easy prediction here. I think they're gonna chuck in more artifacts. If you're an artifact hunter, if you're someone who likes artifacts in NewWorld, I think they're pretty good. I do think we have quite a few already in there. So I don't think we're gonna get too many, but I do predict we will get more artifacts added to the game, and some of these can be pretty fun to use and mix up all the metas and stuff like that. So that's nice. And then a bit of a different one that I've not really seen anybody else predict. A continuation of the story leading into the new raid. So we believe the new raid should be something to do with Medusa. So there's a bit of that story in the Rise of the Angry Earth when that came out. But I think we might just get some more of it, you know, some more questing and some more storyline for like what would then be the end game, you know, post level 65. Or once you get to level 65. So yeah, I think we'll get a continuation of the story, probably throw in some more cinematics in there that'll lead into this raid that's going to be coming to the game, which I'm hoping is season 6. I'm hoping we get this raid in season 6, by the way, which is in like, I don't know, 20 odd days or something from now, not long after the June 7th announcement. So they're what I predict are coming. So we got the new weapons, the skills and perks rework, a new gear score, mutation changes, more artifacts, and then continuation of the story. I think that's what's coming. Now, I'll finish off the video here with some things that I hope are coming to NewWorld, but I just don't think are that likely. So yeah, so we also know as well, NewWorld at the moment is a bit of a meme for being a testing ground for the future Lord of the Rings MMO that's coming from Amazon Game Studios. So some of these things tie in with that. We don't know whether it's new things coming to this game or if they're just practicing for what they're eventually going to release for Lord of the Rings, which by the way I hope is going to be an amazing MMO because I'm a big Lord of the Rings nerd and that'll be pretty good. So we're going to start off here with new zones. So it's already been leaked in previous videos on YouTube when you had the Phoenix, I think it's an amulet, I think. There was a weird way where you could go through the borders of NewWorld, which would normally just instantly kill you. It would keep you alive, and then you can just free roam, run around. We found, or they found, not me, sorry, have found there's some basically derelict maps outside of the zones you can go currently in NewWorld. And also in an old dev video, Scott Lane, just before Rise of the Angry Earth came out, he made it pretty obvious, which was a bit weird, but he basically stood one by the developers and he's saying, we need more space, we need more land. And since with the Rise of the Angry Earth, they just reworked Cutlass Keys, I don't know if he was mentioning that. I think maybe this derelict space on the outside of the maps, I'm hoping at some point is going to get filled out. Now, this comes along with something that NewWorld have just released a couple of days ago before this video came out. They brought out a shard system. It's basically like a layering system, like most other MMOs have. Now, this could go one of two ways. This shard system basically means that when you're in certain areas, like towns and stuff like that, you get layered and it reduces the load on the server, not near gathering nodes and stuff like that, so that won't be affected as we know for now. And if you're PvP flag, that won't be affected. But basically, it basically means now if there's like 2,000 people currently logged into the server and there's a couple of hundred people all in this one little location, which must use a load of resources, you know, with their technology or whatever, the shard system is now going to reduce the load, which hopefully will boost up people's FPSs and pings and hopefully less bugs and less lag and stuttering, which I think will aid in my prediction, but not likely, for new zones to be added to NewWorld, probably season 7 onwards. So that's one of my sort of predictions I hope is going to come. Now, revamp to the end game loops. Oh my god! Now this is like if they don't do this, I'm so worried for this game. Now, with console release, again, I don't think console release is going to be huge for NewWorld. I don't think 500,000 or 1 million people are going to buy this game on PlayStation and Xbox. I just don't think that's the case. I don't know an exact prediction. If I say 100k now, you can come back and laugh at this video. Or be like, GG's Liam, you roughly predicted that. Maybe they sell 100k, 200k copies on console, right? Now, the problem is all those players, they could sell 2 million. Who cares? They could come into this game right now. Once they get to the end game loop, they stick around for a couple of weeks and they go, there's not really much reason for me to stick around. Most players, like all the players have now, would then leave the game anyway. So this game needs, and I'm hoping it does come in, maybe season 7 most likely, onwards, it needs better end game loops. You know what I mean? More OPR maps, more 3v3 maps, even 3v3 MMR rankings, proper PvP recorded, and that way will be so much better. It needs it because at the minute nobody's playing 3v3 arenas. So the whole revamp to the end game loop needs to come. Another thing I'm predicting might come eventually, and I'm praying it does. Little things like a revamp to the company system. I mean, oh my god! I mean, at the minute you join a company, and other than doing wars and stuff, there's not really much else you can do with the company. There's no company housing, for example, you know, like a guild house. There's nothing like that. Shared storages or anything like that, or company quests and activities. I remember when I played Guild Wars 2 on launch, you know, you could go and do a bunch of quests and you would unlock points for your guild to level up your guild. And it was all recorded. You could see it in like a guild log. It's not even a guild log. Bro, if I have officers and consoles right now, they could remove a million coins from my guild bank, and I can't even see who took the money or who added the money. We have our own ledgering system in Discord, but that's not the point. Little updates to company would be pretty good. Like I say, a company housing would be pretty cool. Maybe different company, and maybe you can get like rewards from different activities in the game, which then give you specific trophies, which are company, like you win a war of Everfall, you get an Everfall plaque or something like that. You know, things that you could then show off. That'd be nice. I don't know. So I hope that we are going to get rotating loot overall in this game. One of the biggest issues with New World in terms of end game is, like I just said then about, you know, revamp to the end game loops, is the loot in the game. Like you go and do most of the content now. Once you've done it a couple of times, you've got all the loot you need, and it's kind of rubbish. But then you've got all this content in the game. You've got like 12 dungeons in the game now. You've got OPRs, you've got 3v3s, you've got wars, you've got trials as well. Don't forget like Siren Arena and stuff like that. And the loot just doesn't change, doesn't update. Why can't they just put something in the game where it just rotates the loot every couple of weeks? You know what I mean? They can rotate the dungeons and the mutations every week, so why can't we just rotate some of the loot? Throw some, you know, every now, throw a chase item in there every month or every week, you know, and then get people redoing content in the game. So that's one of my predictions, and but hopeful predictions that rotational loot in this game just takes a big up. Do you know what I mean? It needs something new. Now, a little prediction, again, not likely, but it would help out with this end game, you know, sort of rotating loot and rotating content and all that kind of stuff. What about mutated trials? I mean, we've got all those trials in the game, like sirens, and I think there's like 4 or 5 of them in the game. Why can't we rotate the loot in there, or even add mutations to those? You know what I mean? Why can't you add mutations to the arenas and upgrade all the loot and make them a little bit more difficult, and then give us more existing content in the game? If you just revamp it, it gives us even more stuff to do. So yeah, mutated trials I think will be pretty cool if it came into the game. Now hear me out with this one. I've got 2 things left in this video. What are we at? 17-18 minutes. I'm sorry, I'll be as quick as I can. 2 things left for my predictions, hopeful but not likely. Curable wars. Now, not in the way that you've heard from some other content creators, where they say, you know, queuable wars, like you can queue for OPR and play random wars. That would be hilarious on stream, to play a random war, you know, random 50v50 or 40v40 or whatever. That'd be hilarious for a couple of times. After that, it would be awful. It would be a clusterfuck. It'd be terrible. Now, queuable wars in a different way. You can big up the raid system, so you can get into bigger than 20-man raids. You can get into 40s or 50-person raids in this game. And then you and your company, like in, say, for example, Guild Wars 1, you can queue for wars, just open wars, rather than the system now where you can only, you know, declare for Everfall and you have to fight at a certain time or whatever. Well, there's people logging into the game. You've got war loggers. They log in, they log out for their one war. That player's now gone from the game and isn't playing until the next day or 2 or 3 days later. A queuable war system in this game. You and your 40, 50, you know, man company, you're all online. You know, let's queue for a war. And you just like you would in OPRs. And then you would come up against another guild, another company who also queuing for a war. And then this will go into almost like a leaderboard. Leaderboard's already in the game. Surely we can combine this somewhere. And the company who wins the most amount of wars that week or that month or that season, they get specific rewards. And this could revamp the whole territory system, which a lot of people don't like because it's tedious at the minute. And this could also give the war loggers more content to play in the game. You know, war loggers log in, like I said, they play once, they log out. Well, what if those war loggers could log in and sit there for 6 hours with their company just queuing for wars and battling against all these different, make it cross-realm, of course, all that kind of stuff. So there's loads of different companies available. But then, like I said, make it a lot more like Guild Wars 1, where, you know, it's all kind of like ranked maybe, and it's saved and your scores and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Queuable wars with companies versus companies, in my opinion, would be really, really good. Not random queuable wars, but proper company queuable wars. Could give all those PvP players way more opportunities to play. One last thing I'll say on that as well. I thought Scott Lane got this completely wrong on one of his last videos. He said only 2% of the current player base play wars, so that's why they don't focus on that content anymore. But mathematically, if you worked it out, it's only 2% because there's only so many wars per server per week, and you can't fit any more in. You know what I mean? Like, look at OPRs, you can queue as much as you want. So if you had more players able to queue for the wars, you would have more wars being played, and that 2% would go up because more war players would log in and play the game, and then the game would go up again. You know what I mean? So for me, Cubal Wars would be insane in this game. I don't think this is going to come in. But I don't see why not. You know what I mean? Everything's there. The queuing system's there. The raid system's there. The war system's there. War system's there. The leaderboard system's there. Combine it somehow and make Cubal Wars. And then my last one, again, I don't think this will ever happen, but for me, this will be the only thing that could potentially save the game, if you like. All of the things we've mentioned in this video so far, you combine them all those updates, the new weapon skill perks, new gear score, console release, you know, rotation of endgame loot, more story modes, you know, everything we've mentioned so far, Cubal Wars, all of those things combine, and then a big fresh New World 2.0, just like Final Fantasy 14 did with Reborn, I think they called it, or Rebirth, whatever it was. You just relaunch the game, you know what I mean? And the only reason why I say this is, look over the last 2 years, player numbers go down, but the updates to the game keep actually coming. I know there's big gaps where there's not, but the updates keep coming. Every time they put a small update out, nothing changes. They add 3v3 arenas to the game, nothing changes. They add mutations to the game, nothing really changes. You know what I mean? Every time they add something little to the game, nothing really changes. They bring out seasons, nothing changes, apart from player numbers go down. For me, if all of those things could be implemented into the game, condensed into a big New World 2.0 release, I think there's a chance. Because the game's pretty nice. The graphics are solid. The audio's amazing. The visuals are amazing. There's loads of, you know, there's loads of good things to this game, but it's just such a mess at the same time. And I think maybe shutting down the game for a little while, bug fixing the crap out of it, bringing it out all fresh and hopefully night. I don't know. That one I'm just kind of like hoping and praying, but it's probably never going to happen. But I thought I'd add it to the end of the video anyway. But yeah, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate it. If you liked the video, you know what to do. And if you want to come and check me out over on Twitch, I'll put a link down below now. I'll put a link in the little section below as well. Come and check me over on Twitch. We play New World every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday around about 5 p.m. UK time. And this Friday, June the 7th, I'll be live a little bit later than 5 because we're going to go later into the Summer Games Festival, which starts at 10 p.m. UK time. Come and check me out. Come and jump in the chat. We'll check out what this huge announcement is, hopefully from AGS. Hopefully it's a good one. If not, I fear for the game, but we hope. See you in the next one.